Does anybody like have a thought or idea to add to any of that?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, how much does this fib tool strategy play a part in your trades, along with other methods, of course.
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you want me to give you like a percentage? Because I mean, it's not going to be accurate because, like I said many times before in the past, like there's no one thing, and that's what everybody looks for, right? They're like, what do I got to do to make money? Like, what is the thing, right? And this, man, it varies. It varies, like I said before, like who you are as a person, what your expectations and goals are, what your account size is, you know what I mean? Like,
But but you've adopted this fib tool strategy and you use it with each trade.
yes, and I wouldn't call it necessarily a fib tool strategy because a fib tool is got a certain number set to it. Okay, so I'm going to pull one up real quick and I'm going to go to the default fib. I'll just go to the one that I have as the default. So let me just change this to lines don't extend left.
While you're doing that, I just want to say the way I look at it, Ben, is just like it's just one tool to support your idea, for a trade that you're thinking about taking. Like everything has to make sense. That's why it's so important to look at, the different time frames like he's going through and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just one part of it.
So it's definitely an important part, though. It's been something that you use with each trade, along with your other strategies, of course.
Right.
Doesn't always mean it'll give you the absolute clearest answer. Like he was saying, like, yeah, it hit this, it could go up, but also, it hasn't done this yet. But I mean, I would look at it, every trade, like you kind of want to see what's going on to see if it can give you any more of a clear indication.
Yeah, because it's like this thing, isn't it? I know it's silly, looking for the secret sauce that's going to make us a millionaire.
Yeah, doesn't exist. Doesn't exist.
It's just a combination of different things that all come together.
You know what? You know what the secret sauce is? Well, I'm gonna give you two secret sauces. Okay. One secret sauce, and this one is less important than the next one I'm going to say. So one secret sauce is get $1 million and then trade with a reasonable amount of knowledge and you're going to kill it. All right. The second, which is obviously, I understand it's not obtainable for most people, myself included.
Yeah. This the second. Yeah.
The second secret sauce is you got to put in time. You got to be dedicated. You got to outperform everybody, and you have to let learning trading and understanding it consume you, not at the, obviously don't sacrifice your family and things like that. Of course, I never encourage that. Most of y'all know I'm a big proponent of like, I got my time with my wife and, my dogs, and that's it, like I'm done at that point. I very rarely, 99% of the time, I won't answer crap, so I think that I've seen a lot of people sacrifice that and they do great, but then when they achieve that thing, they're miserable because they lost other people. And it doesn't just go for trading, it goes for anything in life. Because I'm the type of person, I get easily consumed with things that I want to know. Like I'm very inquisitive. I love knowledge. I just love learning, and I love things that are really difficult, really challenging. And I've gotten to points in the past where I will just get obsessed about something and I got my blinders on and I don't see anything outside of my peripheral vision, and when you lose sight of the other things, the things that really matter in life, you're going to maybe reach your goal for that one thing, but you're going to be standing there at the finish line lonely and miserable, just unhappy, So, there's obviously a balance. Like I always say, there's always a balance to everything. But at the same time, you do have to kind of get consumed by it to a degree, because it's hard, man. It's hard. It's a lot of information. And it takes a lot of time, and it's nothing that I claim to have figured out, like, dialed in 100%. Like I've said before, I will never let myself feel that way, because the moment I do is the moment I stop learning. And I don't ever want to stop learning about it. Like, I'm fascinated with it, and I see the complexity in it. And you could figure it all out. Let's just say, hypothetically, you could figure out TA and MA, like just 1-to-1. You got it dialed in perfect, 100%. In a year, it's not going to be the same. You're not going to have it figured out, because it evolves. It is a living thing to it, in a sense. So, and every asset is like a different person, or a different, dog. We've had, most of us have had dogs, and we get a puppy, and this puppy is this way, but then we get another puppy, and like, it's completely different, right? One's really chill and one's super hyperactive. They're not the same thing. They're not. And that's the same thing with different assets and different asset classes. So I think it's, for me, it's been very beneficial to look at different asset and asset classes as their own, like, entity. They all have their different behaviors, and we need to focus on one of them at a time. Like, don't try to trade, 3 or 4 different asset classes, and then 3 or 4 different assets within each of those classes, because all you're going to be doing is just conflicting the things that you learn about one, and you're going to be stuck in that analysis paralysis. You're not going to be able to make a decision, because what is the right decision on one is the complete wrong and terrible decision on another. So I think that's very important. But, concentrated to kind of directly answer your question, the way in which I use the modified fib tool, the way in which I use it, which is essentially to mark quarters and halves of ranges, is pretty, like, dramatic. Like, it really is. I would say I won't take a trade if something doesn't line up remotely close to one of those points. It's really hard to give it a percentage value, but if I had to, you kind of put a gun in my head, I would probably say maybe 15-20%, which is significant, and I would say that overall market structure, those relevant break of structure levels, I would say that's a solid 40%. So I personally think that those two things are the most important things to planning a trade, or executing a trade, and exiting a trade. The application of them, proper application of them, it takes time. And it takes, I cannot encourage people enough to write things down. It's so powerful. Like, one, you'll remember them better. The studies have proven it. But when we look at, say, 5 different time frames, and we see all these different things, oh, well, this one's going up and this one's going down. Oh, that one's going up and this one's going down. Oh, what do I do? Right? Like, they're all going up and down and up and down and up and down. writing them down is really powerful. And it's almost like doing a little mini meta, and this is why metas are so powerful. Every time I do one, I get better, dramatically better. So that's why I always encourage people to do them, and they take time to do like a real in-depth meta, but you don't have to do that every day, obviously. But you can do a little mini meta and write 1 or 2 sentences down just about what you see in each time frame. I promise you, I really challenge everybody that ever listens to this, just do it. Just start at if you're trading crypto, you can look at the weekly, you know what I mean? Just don't put too much weight in it. Just see where you're at there. And use the fib tool, the modified fib tool that I've said, and see where you're at there. See what what it achieved, what it failed to achieve, and do that same thing with the daily. And then as you get down to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, like those are the ones that are really significant, because most people that trade crypto especially are intraday, maybe short swing traders. The people that have large account sizes, they're long swing or position traders. But most of us, we want to trade every day, you know what I mean? Like at least we at least want to take one trade a day. Because it's fun, man. Like scalping's fun. You can get your butt handed to you, to be sure, but it's still fun, and it's great practice. It's phenomenal practice.